Welcome to I Have the Power, a He-Man vidcast. From the secrets within Castle Grayskull to the horrors atop Snake Mountain, we cover everything Masters of the Universe, including action figures, animation, live-action film, and comics, with your hosts, Adam and the Emerald Enthusiast.
Welcome to another episode of I Have the Power, a He-Man podcast and vidcast. As always, I'm your host, Adam, and with me is my co-host, the Emerald Enthusiast himself, my personal man-at-arms, Donnie. Donnie, how's it going?
What's up, He-Man fans? It's the man whose ring runs on fanboy energy. It is the Emerald Enthusiast, here to take you back to Eternia as we talk about Masters of the Universe.
Indeed, and we have today is more of a news episode.
Yes.
We're not going to review anything.
It's going to be short, but hopefully you'll like it.
We may talk about an action figure or two because Donnie's got a plethora of them. So you know.
Hey, we're still on the plethora. All right.
We are, and that may come. See, there's. She, you know. Listen, I'm on the side of the good, but Evelyn is voiced by Lena Headey, and in case anybody was wondering, Lena Headey is in fact on the list. And the best part about the pen thing is that a couple of podcasts ago we had Nico Caruso on the show talking about Spider-Man No Way Home, and he's seen me do the pen click 1,000 times. He just finally realized what that was all about. And I still get a kick out of that. So thank you for that, Nico. But anyway, Nico has nothing to do with our news today, unless he's cast as Orko or something. I'm not aware of. So about almost a month ago, Donnie, and May 19th, we have been podcasting about, you and I haven't sat down and podcast about MotU in a while.
Yeah, May 19th, that's a dangerous day to talk about, though.
Why?
Because of Kane.
Oh, all right. Okay, all right. You're taking it to the wrestling. And I'll tell you something about Kane real quick. I like Kane a lot more than I do Glenn Jacobs, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know why, I know why, and anybody that follows him
on
Twitter will know why. But anyway, I digress. Kane is greater than Glenn Jacobs. Anyway, he's got nothing to do with He-Man either. So back on May 19th, Variety reported. Now you remember back when we did talk about Masters a while back, we talked about how there is a live action series in development at Amazon Prime about She-Ra.
Yes.
And now they have a director for this project. And that director is Nicole Cassell. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. But she has previously directed and produced multiple episodes of the critically acclaimed HBO series Watchmen.
Cool.
She directed episodes of Westworld, and The Leftovers. So those are a couple of shows that you may be familiar with her work. So it sounds very, very acclaimed in the TV space. So that would be a good. I think that's a good hire. The article says that there is currently no writer attached, which I find kind of interesting because wouldn't you hire a writer before a director?
Well, maybe they want the director to have some input, and maybe they are evaluating a couple of different writers.
I never thought of that. That could be. She could handpick the writer.
Right. That's why you have me here. That's why you brought me on board and paid me so much Monopoly money. Yeah.
I mean, the amount of Monopoly money I pay you is staggering. Tony Stark would be just in shock at the amount of money. But so the article goes on to say that this is a joint venture between Amazon Prime and DreamWorks, which is the rights holder to She-Ra. And they talk about how DreamWorks previously produced She-Ra, the Princess of Power for Netflix. But they go on to say that the live action show is a totally new story. It has nothing to do with the animated series.
Which is fine.
Yeah. They also mention in the article that that in the filmation days, She-Ra was introduced on He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, and then spun off into her own series. And they talk about the familial connection between He-Man and She-Ra in the filmation and other parts of the mythology. It's fair to say that He-Man will not appear in this project should it go forward, because Mattel and Netflix have the live action rights to He-Man, and DreamWorks and Amazon have the live action rights to She-Ra. So you can see where the problem would be would arise. So I don't expect He-Man to pop up. Whether he's mentioned or not is a whole nother. Like if he's name dropped is a whole nother ball game.
Yeah. Remember, Supergirl did that with Superman for 2 seasons on her show.
Now, Donnie, I haven't watched the Netflix She-Ra series. Do you know if He-Man was mentioned?
I watched the first couple of seasons, and I don't remember her ever mentioning He-Man. I would have to ask one of my kids, because I know they watched the whole thing.
All right, check back.
What I saw, they didn't mention He-Man.
Okay.
It was a very different kind of continuity.
Yeah. Okay. So that's what I expect. If anything, it's going to be like a mention, like you alluded to on Supergirl. But look, I'm excited at the prospects of this show.
Anytime I get anything Masters of the Universe related, count me in. So
yeah.
And I'm going to go back and watch all of that She-Ra show one of these days. So.
Yeah. Now, Donnie, let me ask you this, because I was having a debate with well, not a debate. We were having a conversation on social media. Chris Evans and I, not Captain America, the other Chris Evans, who's been on the show before, and he and I both champion Alexa Bliss's desire to get into acting. And we were banding about different roles for her. Should she when she makes that next step? Now, I have long said that Alexa Bliss, if they recast Harley Quinn, she should play Harley Quinn. That's one of the ones. I also know that Alexa Bliss is friends with Sarah Michelle Gellar, who played Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And by the way, just let me get this out of the way now. Both Sarah Michelle Gellar and Alexa Bliss are on the list, and I had to do that click twice.
That was inevitable.
Yeah.
Like anyway, Thanos.
Yeah, exactly. I really need a clip. You know what? I got to go on Amazon and buy a clipboard as part of this prop with the pen. Just doesn't feel right. But so they're both on the list. But Chris Evans and I were talking about, if they ever did a reboot of Buffy, she could play Buffy. And then I thought, well, they're doing a live action She-Ra. Could Alexa Bliss pull off She-Ra?
She could pull off a Dora. I would just they'd have to use a lot of tricks to make her, this kind of shorter. This statuesque kind of character. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only drawback.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, Alexa Bliss is a pro wrestler, but she's not a big pro wrestler.
Yeah,
so,
What does she call herself? 5 Feet of Fury, I think it is.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
what
we can have Alexa Bliss play Adora and then Rhea Ripley play She-Ra. So,
I mean, I wouldn't complain about that. I mean, that's killing two birds with one stone in terms of the list is concerned. But I digress. But yeah, just a thought I had. Anyway, I'm excited for this show. Should it, continue to move
Yeah.
in a positive direction and come to light, no matter who they cast, I will be supportive of whoever gets that role because I don't like to prejudge any actor before I've actually seen what they can do. I've done that before, and it came back to bite me in the rear end. So I choose not to do that anymore. But I am on board. Donnie's on board, and should this show come to fruition, guess what? We'll review it right here on this very show.
Right here on I Have the Power, a He-Man podcast available right here on YouTube. That's Multiverse Musings, the Vidcast.
Now, speaking of anything Masters of the Universe, and you're happy whenever you get anything Masters of the Universe, I think you and I are both exceedingly happy at the fact that on Wednesday, which coincidentally happened to be Ghostbusters Day, Netflix was also holding a thing they do. It's called Geek Week, and they do it every year. And they announce a whole bunch of new and returning projects. And it's kind of like a mini Comic-Con just for Netflix stuff. Right?
Right.
And so on one panel, they had Tiffany Smith hosting, who, of course, played Andra in Masters of the Universe Revelation.
Yes, and did so very well.
And yeah, agreed. And I'll do it. Why not? I mean, she may never come on the show. She may never respond to any of my tweets ever again. But Tiffany Smith on the list. Anyway, she was wonderful as Andra. I got an Andra figure thanks to you. You found one for me, and so she is part of my collection. But she came on her segment of Geek Week and announced that Masters of the Universe Revelation is getting a continuation. A new season, a new series, if you will. Kevin Smith is returning to executive produce.
Yes.
And it is going to be, it's no longer called Masters of the Universe Revelation because the revelations have happened. I mean, Tila knows her parentage and her lineage. She knows that He-Man is Prince Adam,
right,
or Prince Me, as I like to call him. And so, I mean, what else are you going to reveal? So you can't call it Revelations anymore. It's going to be called something else.
Yeah.
And this show is called Masters of the Universe
Revolution.
And so far, we know that, of course, Andra is coming back, as Tiffany Smith has said, we're back. We know that Mark Hamill is back as Skeletor.
Yes.
Because he's tweeted that he was doing vocal recordings. Same with Tony Todd. He said that he's doing vocal recordings.
Mark Hamill actually, he kind of hinted at that a while ago.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, he put a picture up and said, "Oh, I'm doing this guy again," and I was like, I think we know what that means.
Yeah. And Griffin Newman is back as Orko. After the official announcement, Chris Wood said we're back. So obviously He-Man is coming back for anybody that was worried. I know there was a lot of worry after part one. Oh my God. So He-Man is back. We haven't heard about Sarah Michelle Gellar, Lena Headey, but I assume that all these people are back.
By the way, I instantly saw some of the more toxic segments of the fandom, like, assault Kevin Smith online and say, "Oh, is He-Man going to be in it this time?"
Well, you sounded like That imitation sounded like a cross between Skeletor and Urkel. I'll tell you that. But
He-Man was in it last time. Quit whining.
yeah, and if you actually bothered to come back and watch part 2, there's a lot of Prince Adam / He-Man.
Yeah.
So, why don't you watch the full thing before judging it instead of just watching half and throwing a temper tantrum like a baby?
Right. That's what a lot of people did, and you can tell they're like, "Well, I didn't watch season 2," and I'm like, "There was no season 2.
First of all, it's part 2.
Yeah, it's part 2.
Yeah.
And you can tell that they didn't come back for it.
And look, I like to be nice most of the time.
Likewise, we like to be positive.
And if you have a legitimate complaint, like, hey, the story, I watched all 10, the story just didn't work for me. I wasn't a fan of X, Y, and Z character. Hey, more power to I can get on board with that. As long as it's a fair, valid criticism, I can get on board. But when you start talking about nonsense that you picked up off a YouTube channel that start talking about bait and switch and He-Man wasn't in it, and it's the Tila show and all that nonsense that you heard, or it's too woke, and I know that you've heard that nonsense on a YouTube channel, I don't take your opinion seriously. So that's the differentiation I'm making. But so we assume that all the voice casts will be back for Master of the Universe Revolution. And the description is very brief, but it said something along the lines of He-Man and the heroes will have to do battle with Skeletor and a new threat where the forces of magic, it's basically magic versus technology.
Right.
I butchered that synopsis, but
that was pretty close. It makes sense because remember we saw Skeletor kind of taken over by Motherboard.
Yeah.
At the end of Revelation. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so I'm ecstatic, Donnie. I love this show. The first season, Revelation. It brought back my first hero. He-Man was my first hero.
Good choice.
Longer than just because it's one of the first things that I can remember seeing. Before Batman, before Zorro, before the Ninja Turtles, I saw He-Man. So, that he was my first exposure to the quote unquote superhero genre, if you will. And I thought this series, Revelation, brought it back in such a meaningful way, where we saw actual character growth, realistic themes being dealt with. There were stakes involved. I just love that he treated the mythology seriously and with respect, I thought. And I watching it, and the beauty of it was that it starts very much like Filmation, where everything's happy. There's like this childlike innocence that you remembered, so you get very comfortable and familiar, and then it just like stuff hits the fan. You know what kind of stuff I'm talking about. And
Fecal matter.
All of a sudden, from when Cringer goes in the wrong spot. Anyway, and then or Panther, or whatever. Anyway, one of the cats says, "Who the hell knows?"
Panther poo.
Imagine what happens on Thundera. Jesus, that's probably a messy place on there. Anyway, kitty litter everywhere. You don't want to go to the beach because that ain't sand. Anyway, neither here nor there.
Oh boy.
But no, the fact that they gave you the familiar, and then be like, okay, now it's 30. We're 30 years removed from your childhood. These characters have grown, they've changed. come along for the ride. And
Yes.
so I liked it, but they
Yes.
treated it with respect and they treated it with seriousness.
Yes.
And I really appreciated that. I've watched it twice over. I think you have too.
Yes.
And we're planning on doing commentary tracks.
Yes.
For the season, so we're gonna watch it again. But I'm so stoked for this, Donnie. We got a poster, which the poster looks great.
Mm-hmm.
And I just can't wait to be back into this version of the world, to see where they go with it. For those thinking, because the Horde and Hordak was teased, that we'd get Adora and She-Ra. Ted Biaselli said, who is one of the producers, said unfortunately they cannot use She-Ra because of the rights issues that we previously talked about, DreamWorks. So as much as I'd love to see She-Ra and He-Man team up, doesn't look like it's going to happen, folks. So temper that expectation. But there's a lot to look forward to.
At least for now. Yeah. Remember, for the longest time, Spider-Man wasn't in the MCU.
Yeah, I mean,
things happen.
Change, right? Studios could decide, hey, we're going to play nice with each other. Stranger things have happened.
Right.
But yeah, so I'm excited. There's no word on when we possibly get this series, how many episodes. We don't know any of that. Of course, these things take, animation takes time. So don't expect it a month from now. That ain't happening.
My expectation is probably sometime next year.
Yeah, at least a year.
Yeah. Next summer, maybe.
Yeah, if not two. So, but I would expect to hear something at PowerCon, probably in August. Maybe Kevin Smith will be there and reveal some more details. I'm excited, but what's your take, Donnie? What are you excited about?
I have longed for a continuation of what we saw. Masters of the Universe Revelation, the franchise grew up, okay?
Yeah.
And for those of you complaining, it wasn't exactly like the original series. Okay, first of all, the original series wasn't even the original mythology. Yeah. The original mythology were the comics that came with the figures. By the way, these mini comics, this whole story was spawned to sell toys. So there wasn't any grand vision. It was them deciding, hey, let's give characters to these toys. And so there's no reason why Kevin Smith can't change it a little bit now to make it more modern. Get over yourself.
Yeah.
I'm very happy to see this come back.
Yeah. What I think this show did well, and I think it'll continue to do that, is it took, a lot of it came from, a lot of the existing mythology came from the mini comics because that's what Mattel owns.
Yeah.
They can't use, there's a reason why they can't use, they couldn't use the original theme song because that's owned by Universal.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of what you see here is largely built off the back of the mini comics, but also they've sprinkled stuff from the 2000X series. Mm-hmm. They sprinkled stuff from Filmation. I mean, clearly, they've taken as much as they legally can from Filmation. They've taken from, the DC Comics version of He-Man, which Chris and I are currently reviewing. They took some stuff from the 87 live action movie. We saw that. So they're taking, bits from all different aspects of the Masters of the Universe lore. And I like that, personally.
Why wouldn't you try to exploit every corner of the mythos? Why not?
Yeah.
Because people have different entry points into a mythos like this.
But this is also, I think, Donnie, the renewal of this series is vindication. I'll tell you why. Because it proves to me that what we were seeing online with the YouTube videos and the vitriol that Kevin Smith and those guys got, that is a loud minority.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and there's too much of the loud minority in fandom that are running amok, thinking that they are the representatives
Right.
of the franchises. So
Yeah.
Star Wars has it with the people complaining about Obi-Wan and harassing that one of the actresses.
Yeah.
You know, DC has it with the Snyder Cult, thinking that they're the be-all and end-all of that franchise.
Marvel has it with all the people who throw a fit over Captain Marvel.
Yeah, Marvel has it.
A movie that made $1 billion.
Yeah. And now Masters of the Universe has it. But what I like, this renewal says to me that the silent majority watched it, kept watching it, bought the figures. That's what Netflix and Mattel wanted. Mattel wanted figure sales. Netflix wanted repeat, viewings. And what I learned yesterday.
By the way, these figures are magnificent.
They're masterful.
Masterful,
if you will. How about that?
By the way, thank you, Kevin Smith, for liking so many of my tweets. I know you'll never watch this, but whatever.
Yeah, and he liked a couple of mine as well. So when I directed one of my tweets at the haters and I used a Triple H gif, you can imagine what that gif was like. But Kevin Smith liked that, so it's cool. And I know also because I supported Kevin Smith and I decry the haters of the show. Some people will call me a studio shell on Twitter, but so be it. Listen, I'm not getting any checks from Hasbro, Mattel, or let's extend it to even Warner Brothers. Like they're not giving me any checks for being excited for Black Adam. Mm-hmm. The difference is I choose to look forward and look at what I'm getting, and hopefully going in with the anticipation of enjoying it, as opposed to living in the past wanting the exact same thing that I got in the 80s, or wanting what was supposed to happen in 2016 and beyond, but it didn't happen for reasons. I'm not stuck in the past. I like to, hey, this is a property I love. This is what they're producing. I'm going to choose to go in positively and hope to like it. Look, I may not like something. Season 2 could come out of Masters of the Universe, Revelation, and it could stink. I mean, there's a possibility that could happen. There's no guarantee that this season is going to be fantastic, right? Correct?
Sure. There's no guarantee.
If it's not fantastic, I'll come on here and say, look, I didn't like this season, and I'll list the reasons why. But until I actually see the thing and watch it all the way through, part 1 or part 2, I hope they don't split it up like that. But if they do, they do, and I'll watch it accordingly. But I'm going to watch it, and I'll judge once I have a complete picture of the story they're trying to tell. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to judge pieces. I'm not going to judge 2 episodes, 3 episodes. Give me the full thing, and then I'll judge. But if it's not good, I'll come on here and say it. If it's great, I'll come on here and talk about how great it is. But right now, based on the entirety of season 1 of Revelation and the creative team that they're bringing back, I have no reason not to be excited.
Yeah.
So I'm going to share that excitement.
Well, and that's a good segue here. I saw online a lot of parents watching Revelation with their kids. And that's why you and I do this. Again, we don't get paid for this. We come on here and we donate our time because we think that.
I mean, look, people want to call me a shill.
Yeah.
People want to call me a shill. Hey, listen, Mattel, you want to give me free toys? I'll show you even harder.
Yeah.
I mean, Warner Brothers, you want to give me free passes to Black Adam? Come on, I'll give you my email. I'll DM it to you right as soon as we finish on you. People want to call me a shill. Hey, if these people start giving me things, I'll show you a shill. But
hey, if you've ever seen my YouTube channel, I have lots of Masters of the Universe reviews on there.
Yeah, nobody gave him toys.
Right.
He blames me for making him get the toys.
That's right.
So it's not shilling. It's just we we trying to go into something, but I don't want to go into something hating it.
Well, we call ourselves ambassadors because we feel like there's something of value here that we want to pass on. And you and I like to enhance the experience for other people who are on this journey with us.
And you know what's cool, Donnie? And this is really interesting. The other day, actually yesterday, I saw it. There's a great website, a YouTube channel devoted to specifically the continuity of Masters of the Universe Revelation. It's called foreternia.com.
Right. They've actually retweeted some of my reviews.
Yeah,
so
and
I
they have a
appreciate
YouTube
that.
channel. They have a YouTube channel as well. And I was talking to the main guy. I gave him a link to one of our podcasts, trying to see maybe if he'll come on as a guest. But
Sure.
We'll see how that goes. But I saw on he wrote a story yesterday about how, I guess as of yesterday, Masters of the Universe Revelation was trending on Netflix. Now, you hear me talk about trends and this and that. Trending on Netflix and trending on social media are two different ball games. Trending on Netflix means that's being watched. Trending on social media is basically spamming with hashtags and algorithms and a coordinated effort and all that jazz. So it's two different ball games. Trending on Netflix is what you want to be if you're a Netflix product.
Right.
So that tells me people are still watching this, and based on the announcement, they're rewatching, and that's a good thing.
Right. So, exactly. Yeah.
And two real awesome things about this renewal, Donnie. One is we're going to get more toys.
Right.
So our wallets may be crying. We're going to be smiling. And then two, and this is for me, but you know how excited I was at the end of last season at that scene where Adam and Tila are talking.
Right. And she said your name.
She says, Prince Adam, man, my hero. Well, that threw me over the moon because, as you know, my name's Adam, and I've had a crush on Sarah Michelle Gellar since I was in high school, thanks to Buffy. So I've always wanted to hear Sarah Michelle Gellar say my name, and I got that. And now I'm going to get more of that. So that makes me even more happy. But that's neither here nor there. I'm ecstatic. I can't wait. It's probably going to be a little bit of a wait, so I will wait because I have no choice. But we're going to talk about it. We're going to have more episodes of Masters of the Universe, both me and Donnie and me and Chris. We are going to do commentary tracks. So if you want to watch along with us, get ready to do that.
Yeah.
We're gonna continue coming on here and talking about the Masters of the Universe movie news as we get it. And of course, we'll keep you updated on the She-Ra series. So if you're a Masters of the Universe fan, lots of stuff is coming. And by the way, Dark Horse, since Kevin Smith is back, Donnie and I would like more comics. So please oblige us and keep them coming. So a lot of stuff regarding MotU coming from Donnie, myself, and Evelyn over there.
Who's on a flight stand.
Yeah, she looks like she's going to take off.
That's right.
But yeah, so lots more coming. Stay tuned. And if you want to talk Masters of the Universe and share your excitement with us, you can on social media. So Donnie, where can they?
You can find me on Twitter or TikTok as the Emerald Enthusiast. Let's talk comics. Let's talk collectibles. Let's talk Green Lantern. Let's talk Masters of the Universe.
And if you want to find me, it's at Adam_Leafs fan. We have a Twitter account for the podcast itself at MMNPDC. We have a Facebook group, which is listed in the description below. If you'd like to follow us on Facebook, click the link. I will add you, and we can continue the conversation there. But until next time, remember that Masters of the Universe is forever. From the revelation to the revolution.
The good one.
So long, everybody. and good journey.
So long, everyone.